Hello. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Hello. Nice to have you here, everyone. Give us a couple of minutes. We do have about 30 participants, so we'll wait. Probably wait a short minute, if that's fine for you. Then we're going to start.
So,
Hallo.
hallo zusammen.
Hallo.
Patrick. Hallo Nadine, Ilias, Larissa und
Hallo.
alle anderen auch.
Hello. Okay. Thanks for the information. Okay, I think we can start, huh, Nadine?
Okay. So good afternoon to everybody, and we are happy to welcome you to this third webinar of this year dedicated to our partners. Today from the STS team, we have Larissa, we have Patrick, Achille, and myself. And we are also happy to welcome an external speaker, which is Mr. Henry Casmolari. But let's have a look at the agenda.
So for today's agenda, we're going to talk about the latest updates on PMI, GPM, and EPMI. Asher will tell you more about the updates on our products, and Andre Kasmulari will tell you about AI and Symmetrain, and it's a presentation of his bachelor thesis. I will hand over directly to Patrick.
Okay, great. Thank you. Larissa, Nadine. Also, a very warm welcome from my side. It's a pleasure to see you and hear you as well. As we said, it's really also the occasion to talk about different things. And so we're going to have first a short update of PMI, GPM. Apparently, there are a couple of things moving. Should you have any questions, we certainly have at the end of each section a little bit time for questions, but you can also put them into the chat so that we can take it up from there as well. Good. PMI, well, probably you have seen it at the beginning of this week. There were quite a couple of posts on LinkedIn about the new PMBOK, which will be issued at the end of this year, as it has been said. Probably some of you have already also had a glance on it, because at the beginning of this year, you had the chance to look at it and to see what has changed. So apparently what has changed is that they shifted from process groups, which actually was not in the PMBOK guide anymore, to focus area. Also, they have more like actionable principles. So I'm not really aware. I haven't seen that when I was looking into it, but I'm going to look then afterwards. And I think the other point, which has been quite discussed broadly as well is really the focus on sustainability, leadership, and value delivery. I think that's where most of the certification will go to, and probably also what project management is shifting towards. The performance domains, they have been updated apparently, and even though there are these kind of focus areas, I guess the agile and the predictive, as well as the hybrid methodologies are emphasized much more in the new one. And that actually leads us to the PMP exam. Just here, the short update, what I have found also on the communications that PMI does with the ATPs. So there will be in Q1, 2 or 3, the new updated exam content outline, and the updated exam is expected by the end of the year, or also 2026, or then to early 2027. So there is still some time to go and to work on the new slides. Even though for the ATPs, the slides will be already ready for those who are ATPs or representing ATPs. We had a look on it. So there are a couple of changes, but let's say the essentials of PMBOK is still given there. In terms of PMI, they also changed a little bit the status of the authorized training partners. So for today or now, up to now, there were a premium or premier ATPs and ATP, a basic one. Now they call it professional one, and they will add 2 categories below, especially for mid-size or smaller institutions that are not processing as many certifications as probably we are doing. I think PMI really wants that all the candidates for PMP and other exams, they pass through ATPs. And that's probably also what I have heard, the reason to have different categories as of, I think, now and in the future. Something which you might have heard already is also that the GPM B certification has been merged together with the PMI, so they provide the certification together, even though PMI and GPM, they remain separate bodies, but the certification is done jointly. So it really is according to all other exams from PMI with the specific testing center they have. And that's a little bit the changes that they have done. We have done some certification before, not recently, but we still hope that there will be some more requests, as PMI has started also to promote GPM and green project management as such. And I think also the methods that you find in GPM, they are quite helpful. Prism on P5 or 5P. P5, I guess. Yeah, there are really useful tools, not only for project managers, but all those who are working in the field of sustainability. And talking about another version as well, I've heard that will be a new version of the IPMA framework, the ICB. I have heard that, but no one really could give me some more insights. So I even have asked Copilot, and he actually repeated what I had as well. They're really working on the competencies as such, but they will also integrate more like aspects of agility, sustainability, transformation, and so on. And I see that Marco has raised the hand. Probably, I think he's one of those people who can also say something about that. Marco?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I can tell you a little bit more. Being a board member of IPMA, that helps getting some inside information. There are 2 things. There is now a new book on the ICB4, and now worldwide there will be the same book applied. And they used originally the Dutch book, but they have now put in the international model. So there's now only one book now for ICB4. That's the first thing. Second thing, there's for ESG, there has been another standard published. And what they're currently doing is they're merging the ESG part with the ICB4. And next year, September, will be issued an ICB5. And then it will take then probably 2 years before the full ICB5 will be fully integrated in all the certification systems. So there will be a kind of 1 to 2 year period overlap that you can still use ICB4 and gradually you'll go over to ICB5. So I think that by middle of 2028, ICB5 will be fully up and running, and there you will have a kind of merge between what you also see now with PMI and GPM. A similar thing will happen with IPMA, that you see the green stuff being incorporated in the project management standards.
Great. Well, thank you very much for this insight. So that's good. So we have really first-hand news, and I think what everything tells me, it's really all the different standard certification go not in the same direction, but the similar direction, and take up really the latest changes in terms of transformation, sustainability. I think which is also needed. Yeah.
Yeah, Patrick. I think the other thing is all this documentation is now being sold through Van Haren Publishing. It's a Dutch company, and they publish now all the books on behalf of IPMA. So if you want for your candidates or whatever, you need that literature. And if you register yourself as a training partner, then you will get 15% discount on whatever you buy from Van Haren, which you can then you can take it as your own margin if you're interested.
Yeah. Okay, good. Thanks. Valuable news as well. Yeah. Good. Thank you very much, Marco. And this concludes a little bit the overview about the certification. Are there any questions from your side? Okay. If not, you can still put it in the chat. But with that, I would really like to go ahead and pass the screen, I would say, to Ashil, who gives a short update on our products.
Yes, hello everybody. I will try to be quick as possible. Okay, so first part, I will just speak about Simultrain. So actually, we are rebuilding the engine of Simultrain, so front-end and backend. The backend is done, it's completed, and now the simulator is able to receive the various functionalities that we added on the Miro board a couple of months ago. So here it's the old simulation, so everybody knows it. And here is the new one with a new design. It looks as the same as the old one. We are trying to do it by small phases, so build it like a Lego, sorry, and go like in an agile mode. So here it is. This part is a simulation control, and inside the office itself, we have rebuilt completely the email section, so it looks quite new and modern. We also rebuilt the decision list here. It looks also quite new. The budget section also here, we have some new icon which will give some indication to visual indication to the different participants here. We have a progress bar also. The Gantt diagram is almost the same. Team section also. Activity network is completely different from the others. We have the report section here. It's the part that we rebuilt the most. Here we have an overview of the different graphics that we will find. So here for the cost performance, we can see that I started playing with this license and it started building the graphic slowly here. So as a participant, I have already an overview of what is happening, and if I want more detail, I can just click on it and I fall back on the graphic itself. Organization chart the same, and the hours invested the same here. We remove the dashboard section from the report section. For us, it's more logic. So here, if you want to access the dashboard, you can access it from here. And if you want a different graphic, again, it is the same. The calendar also had been rebuilt completely from scratch. So quite new, also with the same functionality. The risk the same, and the RACI also the same. Now the big work will be on the office section, because this one we want to completely change it of form. We are discussing internally with the designer to see how we can build this. But for the first release of the new engine and the new front end, it will be the same. So the front end of the office will stay the same, and we will change it in a short release, so 1 month or 2 months after the first release, which will be in the first semester of next year, so 2026. Any question related to Simultrain?
There was one question in the chat, if I just ask about the number of the limitation of the numbers. Correct me, Ocean, if I'm wrong. There are no really numbers of how many simulations you can run in parallel. We say it's afterwards it's more to be, but technically it should be okay. It's more that you do have enough time also to dedicate that to your teams, especially then afterwards for the debriefing. And I see, Marco, you have a question as well.
Yeah, it looks beautiful, all these new graphical user interface, but which problem is it solving, to be honest?
The problem is that we can add new functionalities because our old engine was quite rigid and blocked to the
which new functionalities do you have in mind? Because this version 12 is then already so long. Which new functionalities do you have in mind?
So there is a lot of them. We can list quite a lot of them. We have first one would be like to have a shorter simulation, which is not we are not able right now with our old simulator. Question related to the scenarios, which we are not able to solve with the old simulator, and with a new one, with a new engine, we are able to solve it. So the database behind Simultrain has completely changed and is completely now open to receive new functionalities, whereas the old one was not open at all. It was a closed box.
I understand it, but you say so. You can do new scenarios then easier. Is that the issue?
Yeah.
Is there a need for new scenarios then?
We would like, yes, for example, if we take the ecom scenario, I don't think for today's it much really. It's the right framework that we will use. For example, it's a waterfall here inside Simultrain, and nowadays we will use mainly an agile methodology.
But there is an agile scenario already.
No, we don't have an agile scenario already.
Yes, there is.
It's not really.
But anyhow, is that what Simultrain has thought of, what the trainers is asking for?
Sorry, I didn't understand you.
Is this what you have been thinking, or is this what we as trainers have been asking for? Because I have no customers who ask for new scenarios.
So you should just take in consideration that as STS, we are overseeing the business differently as you. So you have your needs. We are trying to put priorities on the needs of the trainers, and also us. We need to update our product and keep it aligned to what we want it to be. So there is also our need as STS for the simulator itself. So this simulator had been like this for a couple of years. So now it needs to evolve. The product needs to evolve.
But does it mean it's going to integrate more of this ESG and green GPM kind of aspects now in the simulation?
It's where we want to go, yes.
Okay. And what's the planning for that?
The planning for now, as I said, it's now to have the simulator working with a new engine. So this is the first step of the project itself. Second step after would be to prioritize all the feedback that you provided on the Miro board. And also internally, we had other feedback with other experts that we need to prioritize, give an order to this. And then after we will decide which one to be implemented first and which one will be implemented after. But this comes afterwards. The first step of the project is to have the simulator working with a new engine and with a first new scenario, which will be not the ecom scenario as basic scenario.
But was there a need that if you change it, I can understand you change technology, but is there also a need then to change the user interface? Because now I have to completely overdo my presentation with the new screens, which takes me and the other trainers a lot of work. Or are you going to provide us with something that we can easily then copy paste as trainers in our presentations when we introduce Simultrain?
Yeah. Of course, we will provide you all the necessary.
Patrick, that we get a slide set of the screenshots.
Yeah.
because that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Then I have another question. I used to be able to in the trainer desk to sort on which was on the highest cost or the lowest cost or whatever. I'm missing the sorting functionality. Last time I could not sort anymore, and my customers complaining about that.
Yeah. We are aware about this issue. We are now on a new framework also for the trainer desk, and this will be solved in the next release of the trainer desk, which will be before the end of this year. So the functionality will be reintegrated inside the trainer desk.
Okay, and the other thing is that I in the past I used to do every team on one line, and then I could say make a screenshot of say 15 teams, so we had the overview. So normally have 1 or 2 screenshots because my customers have an overview of all the different teams scored. Is that coming back because now it's spread out over different lines, and you can maybe have only 4 or 5 teams in the same screenshot? So can I list then the scores of a kind of list which I can export or produce or send to Excel or whatever, so that I can have an overview of the scores on the various aspects of the teams?
Yeah, so this is a new functionality which we can try to implement it in the next release. Yes, to have an export of an Excel or something like this with all the team inside an Excel sheet. Like this, you can use it for your client.
Okay, and yeah, well, one of course, I don't know whether we will issue a version 13 or straight away go to 14, which is might for some countries be more smart idea rather than version 13. But I was really looking forward if there's an overview of what potential functionality you have planned for, so I can see whether that suits also my and my customers' needs.
No, that's what we're going to do also in the next step. Once we do have really a solid version, that we inform more all the porters and the trainers also about what has changed in details, and also what will be the next steps. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
that's it
thanks.
on my side.
Good, thank you.
Okay, so let me just switch
just
presentation.
A short question, just a reminder for me: is SPI calculated on value or on schedule-based methodology calculations?
Sorry, what you mean?
SPI.
Is the SPI in the graph calculated based on earned value or based on earned schedule?
It's based on our own schedule.
Earned schedule, that's good to know. Okay, I forgot it. Sorry.
It's not on earned value.
No, it's based on earned schedule. If you check well, it's what had been done on a specific date.
It's better this way. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's good. Thanks.
Okay.
We are still on time, Patrick, for the second presentation, or you want to switch?
No, you can quickly go.
Okay, I quickly go on it. So you can again see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, so here we have different topics on, for example, AI in project management. This module explored how to use AI in project management for tasks like scheduling, risk management, and agile workflow, while promoting ethical use, bias prevention, and balance human judgment. This is for this course, and how it look like. For now, we are still testing it. The content is ready, but we are still testing it before having the validation that it is working normally. And then after, this module will be integrated or in a specific new course or in existing courses. It might be in a new project management fundamentals, etc. So this is how it looks like. We have 3 modules inside with different courses. And again, if you want to have, for example, access to this course, just to check the content, I think, Patrick, we can go for it for them. And if you have any feedback related to this content, you can provide us the feedback. It will be grateful. So as you can see inside, it looks a bit like this with the question normally, etc. But it's brand new content with new graphic and new course structure. This is for the hybrid, AI in project management. Then you have the hybrid environment, which look like this. And this module shows how to combine agile and waterfall methods through three hybrid models. That is agile within predictive within agile, and a hybrid phase. It helps learner design flexible and structured system using practical framework and real world cases. So here you have the different the two module and three inside the first one, 3 lesson, and 2 lesson inside the second one. And inside the same the content with completely new design and new content also. Then after we have the psychological safety and time management. Look like this. This module helped team to build trust and empathy to create a safe, supportive environment where people manage time efficiently and work efficiently with while maintaining well-being. Inside only one module, this module I think clearly match the PM fundamentals, and inside here you have again the content, and if you want access after, just ask us and we'll provide the access afterwards. Then the last one, sustainability. This module teach how to integrate sustainability into every project stage using framework like triple bottom line and P5 models. It covers goals, setting, risk management, and align with the UN sustainable development goals while developing sustainable leadership and communication, mainly communication skills. Here only one module with 3 lessons side. Again, it is the same with new content and completely new design for these 4 topics. So that's it on my side. And if you want access to this content and you want to provide any feedback, we are happy to give you access and to receive the feedback afterwards. That's it on my side.
Short question.
Okay.
Yep. Is there an intention to create a module for project management offices?
I think it is in the pipeline. It's in the pipeline, but now we are trying to finish with these 4 topics before, and then after working on the new topic, I think it will be clearly maybe next year, completing this one first, and then after seeing other topic. But it's clearly in the pipeline. Yes.
Great. Thank you.
Might also depend a little bit all the adjustments that we have to do for the new grade. But it might be a good topic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Thank you, Arshil, as well, and the whole team which is behind that. That's very important as well, that we can move ahead with new tools, with new contents, because it's moving quickly, and that's what project management is about. Now, I have really the pleasure to welcome here Andri Kasmolari. We have been in contact, I think, since the beginning of the year. He just asked us for a couple of licenses because he has to do a thesis, and out of this kind of request, a kind of intense discussion, especially also with Arshil, developed, and I think he really made an excellent contribution to see how AI, also artificial intelligence, might influence project management, and he has used the simulation for this. Andri has done a Bachelor of Arts at the Degenstoff Institute of Technology, and the title actually that his thesis has is AI-powered project management, a simulation-based analysis of performance and decision-making. Before, Arshil, do you have point?
Yes, I just wanted to raise one thing that I forgot about Simultrain also, is that we are working in collaboration with an expert to see how, if we can integrate an AI agent inside Simultrain to provide feedback to the participant or to give support to the participant inside the project management simulation.
Okay.
That's it on my side.
Thanks. Yeah. Matt, I have a word about that at the end again. Yeah, that's good. Okay, with that AI, you see that's really a major issue right now in project management, but not only project management, but also in training. And I'm really glad here to hand over to Andrew, his presentation about the findings. And it's about 20 minutes, and afterwards we have certainly enough time to discuss. And I'm also wondering what your insights or thoughts will be. Andrew, the floor is yours.
Yes. Thank you very much, Mr. Lehmann. Thank you for the introduction and thank you for the invitation here. Hello, everyone. I just need a second to share my screen and then I will start with the presentation. Can everyone see?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's in presentation mode. Yeah, okay.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to present to you a bit on my bachelor thesis, what I worked on, and the topic, as Mr. Lehmann said, it's the AI-powered project management. It's an analysis of performance and decision-making powered by Simultrain. So a short introduction first about why I picked to do this this thesis. I'm also, like I think the rest of you, interested in project management and looking for it to be one of the main motives of my career. So as AI is a new tool up and coming, which is still not in the beginning phase, but it's still a long way to go, and probably improvements are gonna grow quicker and quicker as time goes by. Project management needs to adapt to it and also make the best use that it can out of this new tool. So the key question for my thesis is that can AI match or outperform humans in managing projects? Would that be plausible? So the first objective that I had for my thesis was to evaluate the AI's performance in project simulations and see how AI would compare to humans in managing cost, schedule, quality, and motivation, which, as you know, are the four main performance indicators in Simultrain. Then I was also interested to compare these large language models within themselves to see which ones is the best performing one. The ones that I picked to use were ChatGPT 3.5, ChatGPT 4.0, DeepSeek, and PMI Infinity. The last objective that I had was to identify the benefits and limits of AI in project management to see what are the pros and cons of using this tool in the real world in project management. So I use Simultrain, as most of you already know how Simultrain works. It's a 60-day project simulation. And the way I did the comparison was by doing 5 simulations run by AI from myself, and then compare that to 50 human simulations, which the SDS team were kind enough to give me access to. And the models, as I said, to test it were the GPT 3.5, 4.0, DeepSeek, and PMI Infinity. Now, how the setup and the approach that I followed using AI was. So first, I would open up the simulation to see what was happening, what was the first step that needed to be taken. So I took all the information from the simulation and I put that into the large language model. I made sure that I used also the right prompt. So I would put in the prompt to the large language model. After that, the AI would give me a decision. After that, I would record that decision into Simultrain, and then after the response, the metric would get recorded themselves, and at the end, in the graphs, you would see the results. So first, when I started using the ChatGPT 3.5, that was the first large language model that I started using. The responses that I was getting were not quite satisfactory. So what I had to do was to make sure to utilize the large language model at its best. So by doing this, I would get the best possible response that AI could give me. For this, I went into a bit of research on the prompting techniques and how to ask AI the right question or how to make sure they give you the best possible answer without missing some important parts and points. And the most efficient prompt technique that I found was the panel of experts, So if you're not familiar with the panel of experts, it works like this. You ask the large language model to role play 3 different experts, which all have different backgrounds in a field. In our case, it's project management. So as you can see here, I have listed a prompt that I've given the large language model. So I asked it to give me an answer based on the panel of 3 experts that I just named them randomly: Kim, Jonathan, and Richard. And every expert has a priority that they're focusing on when doing the assignments. Kim was, so this is for specifically the planning phase when you match the team members with the activities. So one expert was focusing on matching the activities with the right team members based on their skill levels and the skills required for the activities. The other expert was focusing on matching the activities with the right team members based on their availability and assigning the right amount of team members to each activity. Because as you know, every team member had a timetable where they were available for the project, and also they had their vacation days. Sometimes they'll also be sick. And then also, yeah, make sure to assign as many people as needed for the specific task. And the last expert was focusing on matching the activities with the right team members with a cost-effective approach, because we had team members that were all in all quite good in all fields, but they were more expensive to hire. So in order to get the best possible result, we'd also have to keep costs low. So this expert was only focusing on picking the best one and also the cheapest. Yes, so the panel would have a discussion and trying to solve the issue step by step by making sure the best possible match happened for each activity. At each stage, they were supposed to make sure to critique and check each other's work, pointing out any possible errors. This is one prompt that I put into the AI. Later on into the presentation, I'm going to show you also how the chat looked like between me and one of the large language models and see how it responded and how I responded back to it. Oh, sorry for that. Okay. So yeah, to get a little bit into the metrics now and the numbers. So here's a quick overview on the human versus AI performance. As you can see, these are the average KPI scores. Dark blue is human, light blue is the artificial intelligence. So if you can see that our artificial intelligence outperformed in cost control and motivation by a lot, which is quite visible. Then it also outperformed by a slight amount in schedule, and then quality was, so to say, kind of similar. To get a better look in each metric. So these are the index scores for the cost metric. So as you can see, AI performed better than humans. It's more efficient and less variable. You can see also it managed to reach a higher maximum score than the humans did, and also a lower minimum score than they did. Moving on into the schedule. So we can see again slight artificial intelligence edge, which made it a bit more stable, but not a big difference when it came to that. Humans, on the other hand, did reach higher maximum scores, but at the same time, they were more variable, so they would fluctuate a lot between high scores and low scores. Then quality was pretty much equal, I would say. It was a bit slight better performance on the human side, but overall it was nothing, let's say, worth to be noted. And then motivation. Motivation was one of the most interesting one to work with, because as we know, artificial intelligence is artificial intelligence. It doesn't really have human empathy or human understanding. So when it came to team motivation, I really thought that in the beginning AI would not perform as well as humans did, but turns out at the end that they did actually perform quite better. So the questions when they come during the simulations, as you may know, regarding the team motivation or making sure that the team members are happy and other stuff like this, AI managed to actually show consistently higher morale maintenance. Yeah, this was very, very interesting to look at. They also managed to get less variable score and higher score in overall. Now I'll talk a bit about the comparison between the AI models themselves. So the ones that I picked were, as I said, ChatGPT 3.5, GPT 4.0, DeepSeek, and PMI Infinity. And then I had an extra simulation that I could use. So I decided with that one, I was going to pick the best, large language model, the one that gave the best results, and use it for a second round to see whether he was going to keep up with the same with the same level scores as he did on the first time. So here we can see on the cost index, DeepSeek on the first round was the best by far. He reached an average score of above 100, followed by PMI Infinity, which went a little bit over 90. And then GPT 3.5 and GPT-4 were on the lower side. One thing worthy to be noted, there was a DeepSeek on the second run, actually did not perform as well as they did on the first run. So that really goes to show a bit about the consistency of these large language models. Then the schedule index, ChatGPT 3.5 was by far the worst one. GPT-4 had better performance than GPT 3.5, but definitely not as good as DeepSeek and PMI Infinity. DeepSeek again on the first run did much better than DeepSeek on the second run. Then to a quick look on the quality index, they mostly performed quite well, all keeping a score above 90. DeepSeek on the second run a bit lower than the others. And ChatGPT 4.0 was the one that actually took the cake in this one and had the highest score, but not by a large margin. Then the last one, the motivation index, DeepSeek showed the best performance in both runs, the first and the second. The first much better than the second, and then followed up by PMI Infinity and ChatGPT 4.0. Again, ChatGPT 3.5 was the worst one. ChatGPT 3.5 was also used via mobile telephone, so this wasn't on a larger desktop or a laptop, unlike ChatGPT 4.0 and the other and the other large language models. Another thing worthy to be noted, though, was also the user experience when using these large language models. So if you want yourself to implement AI into project management practices, however, as we saw here previously, PMI Infinity did not perform bad. It's probably based on the numbers. You could say it was like the second best. However, the user experience is not that great. It would be quite buggy as an application itself. Sometimes you would not be able to calculate the question, then also not have a large memory. So having to create multiple chats was necessary. So anytime I created a chat, I also needed to fill in all the main information. But by doing this, we also lost some previous information that the large language model could have had. But if I added that, then there would be no more memory. So all in all, this was not the best app to use. DeepSeek on the same level, kind of when it comes to memory, was much efficient. It wasn't as problematic as PMI Infinity was, but still did not have as large as memory as ChatGPT had. ChatGPT was actually the best one to use by far, like the easiest and the most user-friendly out of all the large language models. So yeah, that's definitely something that need to be taken into consideration when deciding to use a large language model to help with project management practices. Now to talk a bit about the key takeaways and the practical implications, I can say for sure that large language models can be reliable assistants for technical project management, as we saw that they had better results in cost and scheduling compared to humans. But however, it cannot be a replacement as of yet. You still need humans for strategy, ethics, and team leadership. In real world implications, I feel that AIs can be used as a great collaborating tool, and also as it requires still a lot of training for teams to be able to use it. So AI literacy in teams would be definitely necessary. Then other stuff to be noted for the future research in case that happens, or if people want to know about the limitations of this research. So first thing was that the AI simulations that we had were only 5, so it was a small sample compared to the human samples, which was 50. So however, unbiased I was during the solving of the simulation using large language models, the numbers themselves would seem to say that a bigger sample would be necessary to create a more accurate result. Because as we saw with DeepSeek, just two different runs had different results. Imagine how many would be if there was 50 runs or more. Now, limitation that simulations are not quite like the real world and don't have the same complexity as real projects have. And then that the LLMs are black boxes and still have limited explainability. This is changing, however, with the ChatGPT 5.0 being out, but still there's time for that. And then for future research, I recommend more trials per model. That would make it more interesting. And then a human AI co-management model would also be necessary, because comparing human models to the AI simulations, there was also a big difference when it came to the time that the simulations were solved. So as you use Simultrain to probably train team members or students, or for whatever reason you use it for, you give them a time limit, or as a time limit is there itself by the simulation. In this case, the time wasn't really taken into consideration, because putting all the information from the simulation into the large language model, it took time by itself. So also getting a response took time. So a lot of pausing of the time was involved during the solving of the simulation. So yeah, if let's say a robot, AI robot, which has a human form and is sitting in front of the computer, is doing the simulation, the result could probably be different, because it'll take maybe longer to process everything. So yeah, that's also definitely worthy to be noted. So thank you very much for listening. Here's my information if you have further questions, or if you want to follow up on something. And if you have any questions, now is the time. But maybe before the questions, let me show you a bit the chat and how it looks like. So this is how I put the prompts into ChatGPT. For instance, you can see in this case, I told ChatGPT that I'm the project manager of the new project that I'm working. The type of project is ecom. Describe the type of project it is, and all the information that you can find in Simultrain the second you started. Talked about the milestones and everything. And yes, ChatGPT was great at saving the memory. So it had everything required. Then I listed the activities necessary to be done to complete the project. Every information that was necessary is involved. As you can see, the number of people, the duration, the cost, productivity, and then in the end, also the links and networks between the activities, as it was a waterfall method. And AI actually was quite fast, and that they also created a project timeline without me even asking. They did an activity network diagram, which looks a bit worse than the one that's already in Simultrain, but at least they understood what was happening. And then after that, I listed the team members, giving their skill sets, their working rate, their hourly rate, and the little description for each of them as it is on Simultrain, and also their availability, saying if they're available from the 3rd week or from the 4th week, and when their vacations are, and so forth. And then after this, then it started assigning, as I asked them to do it in a panel way, between Kim, Jonathan, and Richard, everyone on a different focus. They started to assign all the team members into the tasks. This was also before I even asked, because I hadn't already given the information about the training programs. So I gave them the information about the training courses that each team member could take and when they could possibly take it. So it'd be necessary for the future. And then yeah, after that, ChatGPT saved all the training information, and then he continued to assign people to the activities. And as you can see, one expert would say, I think of these team members, for example, Kim is focused on their skills, so she sees like, oh, for this task we need 2 web design, 5 business, and sales and marketing 3. So she finds that she finds the people who are best fit for that. Here's Sue, Fred, and Tim, also the ones who are available at that time. Then Jonathan also looks at the availability, seeing who's available during that time. And then Richard does the calculations based on cost and which one would be the cheapest and the best options possible. And then they have a consensus between each other. And they, at the end, they give you a recommendation on who to use. There's a lot, so the entire chat is quite big. The entire process took me hours. So we can scroll through this for a long time, but I don't know how much time we have. However, if you have any questions or anything regarding the chats and how the discussion between me and ChatGPT or DeepSeek went, I'll be open to questions are also on some other time.
May I ask a question?
Of course.
Yep.
As the critical factor is time, did you check, are those prompts already spread out somewhere in the internet? Like also there are in the internet recommendations how to perform and, for example, allocate the resources in Simultrain as a guideline for students to do it on an easy way. And did you check, are such prompts somewhere findable in the internet, or would it be the case that the students would have to work out them by themselves, and so it's more or less not possible that they can do during the estimated simulation time?
So there's no prompts that are specifically pre-made for Simultrain to be able to copy and paste into a large language model as of yet, unless I decide to take all these prompts and put them online.
Don't
from my
do
research,
that,
there were
please.
no.
And don't start to sell them to the students.
I will not. No worries. I will not do that. I will keep the integrity of learning about project management as it is. Definitely, if you're doing this for students, I definitely say that it's not easy to use large language models. Even if they try and take pictures of the screen and they ask questions, because I also tried this, whether this would be more efficient for me, whether this would be faster. It doesn't really work as well. There's a lot of information into Simultrain, and the way that it's also spread out, it's quite good. So everything needs its own time for you to read it and to understand it. So the best possible way for each student to solve it is to just look at it and do it by themselves. Trying to use large language models would definitely lose a lot of their time that they have.
Okay, we just checked last week to try to do the work breakdown structure on the information which is in the ecom description. So to give the information in Perplexity, and Perplexity was not able to produce a correct work breakdown structure, for example. So
Perplexity is another large language model, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So similar way went with PMI Infinity. Right now, I don't know if they maybe updated the tool, but the last time I used it which was 2 months ago. In the beginning, it wasn't giving me any responses, but I was persistent because I believe that it was a tool created by the PMI Institute. So I believe for it to be the best performing once it's tailored specifically for project management. I just continued to try and get the best responses out of it, and then somehow it did actually give me acceptable responses. And yeah, but the user friendliness of PMI Infinity, it's not good, unfortunately. Maybe we will upgrade with time, but
Okay.
any other questions? Yes.
While you have been talking, I tried to see if AI could generate the most optimal initial resources allocation, and I think it can do within 5 or 10 minutes. So I think that's quite threatening for our Simultrain game, especially if you work in hybrid environment.
So you put all the information in already
No,
for
not all the information, because what you put in ChatGPT is now common knowledge.
Yes.
The questions you asked is now common knowledge in the LLM. So I can use that now because the system already knows it. And if the system knows all these things from Simultrain now, I can ask, give me the most optimal resources scheduling for all the activities from the start of the project. And it comes down now with the names and which activities I should allocate it to. That's how. That's what's going to happen, because the information is now common knowledge. So Patrick, this is something you need to think about.
Yeah, okay. This was certainly not the intention, but we're going to look into that as well. Yeah,
it goes even that far, and there's maybe a different bit. We did test in the Netherlands for whether AI could help writing university thesis, and we wrote a bachelor thesis in over a weekend, which scored 8 out of 10 when someone other teacher was assessing it. That is what is happening at the moment.
No.
With all the reference and everything there.
As far as I'm informed, using this type of, like, when I put information within ChatGPT, it doesn't really become common knowledge, because, for example, I could be talking to large language models about, let's say, personal issues or something to get insights, and if I go through another system or like another large language model or the same one from another device, it's not like it has that information about me saved or stored in it. So I'm kind of surprised that he already gave it. Did he actually list the right team members to the same task? Maybe we can also give it a try and see.
Well, it says this one is activity 1 to 5, the other one 1 to 7, the other one up to 3, and which one you should assign to early. And so, but the issue is, if you read the conditions, the conditions of ChatGPT, everything you put in there is from that moment is theirs. Don't be naive on that one.
Achille?
Yes, you're totally right, Marco, on what you're saying. But this risk, we need to take it in consideration, because we can't manage each student having access to Simultrain. We have the demo, we have everything, and all this information are available on the internet. And I think STS should use this kind of information as an opportunity to build out something out of it, instead of being afraid of the system being able to generate, like you said, a planning, for example, or stuff like this on a specific scenario, because I don't think it's a goal for each student to have this. It's a learning tool, and it's not a tool for passing the exam or stuff like this.
I fully agree. If it's not the PM championship, but I fully agree. And I think it is that then our thing is to see how would you be able to use best way a simulator for the future? Maybe you do it by the help of AI, because that's the future.
Yeah,
and maybe
exactly.
maybe you build it even in that they should use it, because that will help them to use AI as well as part of the learning experience.
Yeah. We are going in this direction. We are already working on this to integrate an AI agent inside Simultrain, but we are quite at the beginning of the project. So really, beginning.
No, I think that's a fair point, and as Asha said, we need to keep it open. That's also the reason why we remodeled it, so that we can also have different scenarios, probably also with different results. If you do, at the end, really the new scenarios. And that's really also the next step, as Asha mentioned, that how we're going to use AI, first of all, in the training, to make sure that how the project manager knows how to use AI in the project, but then also integrate it in Simultrain to really probably come up with a better or the solutions. And it's a fast-moving world. I agree. So protecting ourselves only, it's not the right way. We have to be careful. I agree. But we need to also find a good way to integrate that. And also, if you have any ideas, if you do have also any question marks or something like that, we're always happy to that you can share that and can look into that together as well. Yeah. Marcus?
In the meantime, you have been talking. I tried in ChatGPT to produce the resource allocation list, and I have one in this short time, but I do not know if it works out. So that's the problem, and we have to deal how students will work and use that. So that's the question behind, as you already mentioned.
Yeah. And I think that there are more and more students that use that. I have daughters as well in university. ChatGPT is everywhere, and
and in fact, it's the case. I can't produce it without include any additional information about Simultrain. So the Simultrain information is available in the LLM. That's the case.
Okay. That's probably also a reason then afterwards to go further on and then change. And go
But I'm not sure, I didn't check how much is hallucination here. Maybe there might be a part of the results which could be hallucination as I oversee it, but he produces something. Okay.
Well, we're going to certainly also test it from our side to see. Okay.
If I may add something, from my experience, it would be very difficult for students to get a good responses that they can cheat basically off of ChatGPT to add into the simulation, because there were times that the LLM, even though I've put the information fresh into the device, it would disregard some type of information. For example, if someone was unavailable or had already too many tasks assigned to them. So as the LLM would continue to give you responses, you could just think that line of thinking is correct and just continue, so on and so forth. But when you go to the simulation, then to add that response into the simulation, you can see that it's not available, for instance, or there'll be assigning of tasks to team members that would not accept to do it because they believe they didn't have the right skill sets for it. So in the simulation, I basically cannot continue anymore. So I would have to re-enter another prompt and say, this is not available. Can you look into another option? So yeah, unless I'm most likely I will definitely progress to a scary level, but as of now, I don't think it's there yet for students to be able to cheat off of it.
Yeah, and certainly sometimes it's just also to give the environment in a correct way. And it's true, it's not a competition, it's more about learning. Well, there are sometimes competitions, then we cannot really avoid that. Or we see how we're going to do it in the future, that's true. But yeah, it's also that they have the experience. And I guess, as we said, at some point we might integrate that as well. And as Michel Jacques mentioned, probably, yeah, there will be some more options that we try to integrate at the end. So AI, yes or no. Yeah, I think we have to look into that and take that into consideration in the future as well. Good. Are there any other questions from your side? Yeah, we are more or less done. Thank you for your contributions as well.
Oh, Patrick, sorry.
Yeah.
I thought it was about Simultrain, but I have a strong change request regarding the exam tools. In the German translation, there's used Volk for people.
Oh, okay.
And that's definitely, sorry, not a good translation.
Yeah.
If you could use the translation from PMI, Menschen. Yeah, so that's the original translation exam content outline. Yeah. So
Okay.
Menschen would be much better than Volk.
That's well taken up. Probably,
yeah.
We use there some AI as well. It might be that this has been done by AI and overseen also as well. So we're going to look into that. Okay, thanks for this kind of feedback. So always welcome. Okay. So there is another question about the PMBOK 8. If someone can share it, the pre-version. I don't think it's really available yet, but well, I leave you probably the exchange it if someone has it. Why not? Yeah, but I have not seen it. Well, I've seen once the first edition that was available for a short time, but as for now, I have not seen a pre-version yet.
PMI released practice guide process groups 2 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
And in one of the slides, you mentioned that they will not use any longer process groups. So how does the new PM book will match the practice guide process groups? Any idea?
Yeah, as I said, there are this, how they're called, they're called differently, but they're again in the PMBOK as well. It's more like focus areas The focus areas there are quite similar to the process groups, what I've seen.
And we still have the knowledge areas in the Agile Practice Guide, page 67 or something like that.
How this actually integrated in the new PMBOK, I don't know the knowledge areas.
Performance domains, knowledge areas, process groups. Yeah.
I think it's more like structured way again, less than in PMBOK 7, which were more the performance domains is also more exhaustive. And these focus areas, they take much more space than the performance domains before. So there is a change also in terms of volume again. So they added that. As I said, I had not the time to read all, but there are substantial changes. On the other hand, what is also important to know, the exam content outline will not be that much linked to PMBOK anymore, as it already the case. So there will be a little bit separate. And what we have seen from the slides for the PMP training, it's not going to be that much of a difference. So you need to know that the focus areas and so on. But it's more like still the same kind of questions that they're going to use, I guess. Okay. Some other questions? Otherwise, we stay on a little bit still if you want. I thank you for your interest. I would also like to thank Andrew, first of all, for his work done.
Thanks, Andrew.
For the presentation. I think that's it's a hot topic, and as we said as well, we're going to continue that. And if you are interested to contribute also to a research that Professor Selg is doing, please don't hesitate to contact us. We will also link you with him, and he's really trying to interview experts in project management about the topic how we have to train project manager in future about AI. So happy to link you, and he will also gather all the information and then write his thesis about that as well. Good. With that,
thank you very much for having
Thank
me
you
as
very
well.
much. Have a good
Thank you very
time.
much for paying
Thank you.
attention.
Thank you. I wish you all a nice weekend, and see you.
To you and all the others also. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good time.
Bye.
Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.